you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tome. I don't know why I sing song that. Tome of Knowledge. Tome of Knowledge. Where we talk about D&D and whatever we feel like related to games. I'm here with Moves Like Jagger from the GG crew and Virtual Spectre with his brand new shelf, everyone.
Ooh. Look at that shelf. It's got stuff on it and knickknacks.
It's not special, right?
It's a beautiful shelf, sir. It's a beautiful shelf. Your knick-knack game is on point, I will say.
I look like a streamer now.
I was saying, all he needs now is the plant over his left shoulder, or whichever shoulder, how cameras work, this one, and then he'll be golden.
You need the fancy lights.
If I have a plant, where am I going to put more mechs?
That's true. I mean, to be honest, my plant is fake. I don't have to water that. It's fake.
What if you kit a plant with a mech, so it's a mech plant?
I was going to say, I want like a 5-foot tall Gundam on this side.
There you go. Even better idea, right?
Anybody got ideas on where I can find one?
Japan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should have had Moobs grab you one.
I was there. Or you can have Max 3D print you one. Take a while.
I have a resin printer. That's not gonna work.
It'll take a minute.
it would fall apart probably. Like that big? No way. Anyway, we're here today to tell you all about what we're doing. But before we get into that, if you have not watched us before, thanks for being here. We also have a YouTube. If you want to go check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@casters and cantrips. That's where we have all of our VODs, and we live stream over there as well. And we have some exclusive stuff in video format, like our Out of Combat, where we do like a little after show on our D&D campaign, where we talk about like what happened in the episode. A couple of the cast members get together and just kind of chat and give you some behind the scenes of what they were thinking. We'll answer questions and stuff people want to submit. Speaking of submissions, is if you have ideas and you want us to talk about them for this show, like any D&D related questions, things coming up in like your D&D party or your campaign, we'd be more than happy to talk about it, work through it, all that good stuff. So come join our Discord, discord.gg/casters and cantrips. So you can drop those info there in the Tome of Knowledge topics or the Out of Combat questions if you have any about those too for our campaign. But anyway, with that being said, we also have a Patreon where you get all that access to that stuff early. There's even a tier where you can help me build an NPC in the campaign, me being the DM as anyway. And then we'll take your beautiful handcrafted bespoke NPC and drop them in the middle of our campaign. But if you prefer to listen and not look because you can't stand the side of me, no, I'm kidding. We also have podcasts. Everywhere podcasts are sold, they're there. So I think that's all we got for the beginnings. I think I rolled through them.
Yeah, that did it. That's all things.
Right.
Well,
good job.
Had a Carol Kick. What's going on? Village Frog. Good to see you. Allie said hi and bye real quick. Bun, myself. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, hopefully you're having a good Monday.
I was very tired this morning.
So we all panicked because you told us we had to rank our top 5 D&D party of the world. So during the timer, we all ranked them.
Yes.
Real quick. So thank you, Bun.
Yeah, so the topic being the top 5 people you'd want in your D&D party. And that is our topic. Bun so expertly suggested that we should rank them from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, which I agreed. And then I broke the news to them right before the stream while I was also ranking mine and 1 through 5. Pretty much the only rules we had is they can be anyone, real or fictional, whoever you want in your D&D party. So, and I would say that if you also have or want to share your top 5 list with us, please do. You can drop it either in the chat, come hang out in the Discord, talk about your top 5 list. I'd love to hear what you all think and like what you look for in a D&D party. Or if you're watching this later on, just drop it in the comments. We read them. I'd love to take a look and see what you all come up with. So without any further ado, I'm going to go right to Moobs with who is your number 5 of top 5 people you'd want in your D&D party. Number 5.
This one was real tough. this one, number 5 was really tough because I picked Rogue, and then I I didn't go with maybe I was torn between Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible or Sherlock Holmes,
Ooh,
and I chose Sherlock Holmes
interesting.
to be
Interesting.
my party's rogue, and it would be an inquisitive rogue as a subclass. I went a little further and I picked subclasses because I didn't know how long we were going to discuss. But now that we're
Mhm.
hearing these, but yeah, Sherlock Holmes. Just I think he just make a great rogue, and like an intelligence rogue. He'll be searching all the things, finding all the things, plotting things, and uh and and stuff, and then he'll take leadership and then pick up his friend Watson if that's allowed.
He
Yeah,
can
he could
also, I
totally. Oh, go ahead, VS.
was gonna say he can also hold his own in a fight too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
So good
he can
pick.
throw down in some fisticuffs. That's for sure.
I don't know what else I'm supposed to talk about.
I
But
mean, I also think that like the inquisitive part makes it interesting. Is now you've got someone to like pick up on clues. Like this depends on what your D&D campaign is, right? Having someone
Mhm.
as an investigator could be really, really important. I think.
I think I'm going with Robert Downey Jr. though. If we're gonna blend the worlds together, like a real and fictional character,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's my pick over Benedict Cumberbatch.
What?
Mm.
Or Henry Cavill?
What he is?
Yeah, in the show about what is the name of that show? Somebody
I know
help me
he,
here.
I know he played a spy type of guy. I didn't know he did a Sherlock.
He's Sherlock in Enola Holmes in those series. So he plays Sherlock in Enola Holmes.
Are you thinking of elementary? Because that's not Cavill.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I
not.
almost went Benedict Cumberbatch, but I just love RDJ. He's just awesome.
Yeah, I also think that the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes would be more fun to hang out with than the Benedict Cumberbatch.
More fun,
like
and
Sherlock
definitely
Holmes.
definitely has that physicality of like
Yeah.
combat prowess than I think over Benedict Cumberbatch. Just because of the movie, he's fighting in a pit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That's a very
that's-
strong pick.
that's my
I
5.
liked. Oh, go ahead.
That's my rank fit. It's really unfair to
It's
rank
tough.
these, but yeah, that's number 5.
I think that Ethan Hunt would have been an interesting pick as like your honorable mention because like I'm very partial to the Mission Impossible movies, but I still think Sherlock Holmes is a really solid pick. All right, I will go next with my number 5, and I'm gonna say this is something that I realized that I did, which wasn't a constraint on anyone else. Is when I made my list specifically, I realized that I avoided sci-fi, I avoided superheroes, and then I avoided like just guns in general. I don't know why. I think in my head I was thinking like seated in like fantasy in my mind, you know, because obviously like I could pick like I'm gonna pick Yoda, like that's still a valid pick, but I didn't go that route. But anyway,
I almost picked someone from Marvel, but didn't make the cut. So
we'll see about the list. So my number 5 is actually a real person, not fictional. My number 5 is Les Stroud from the show called Survivor Man. If anyone is if anyone's familiar with that TV show that I think was it Discovery?
I believe so, but yeah, I love that show. That show's awesome.
So if you don't know who Les Stroud is, he is a real life Canadian badass. Yeah, it was on Discovery. So the premise of Les Stroud's show is he goes out to these remote locations and films. He does not have a film crew. They drop him off by himself. He captures all the footage himself and survives by himself on these locations. So the guy's an expert in survival and primitive living, you know, films the whole show by himself, no crew. He's got expert knowledge of like flora and fauna of different areas, like what's okay to eat, what's not okay to eat. And I went through all the episodes. I've seen them all, but I went and like sort of cataloged. He survived in like various forests, the desert, the tropical islands, jungles, swamps, the Arctic, mountainous regions. He's survived everywhere. So I think that for me, for this 5th pick, is if you're in a pickle in a D&D party and you're not near a town or you get lost, like, this is the guy that I want in my party to be like, okay, it's fine. Here's how we survive, like, even in the worst conditions.
That's over. Why not Bear Grylls?
Because I don't like Bear Grylls. He drank his own pee, and that's weird. That's like, why would you do that? Like, don't
out
do
of a
that.
dead snake, no less.
Yeah, like I don't. I think of the two, the more authentic of the shows is definitely Les Stroud. Now, I don't know what Bear Grylls actually knows in real life. Obviously, never met him, but Les Stroud's my pick for sure.
All right, that's fair. I think that's a. I mean, when you have someone in your adventure party who just drinks their own piss, I mean, that's
Yeah,
just a
how do you
hygiene
hang out with that
issue.
person? How do you get past that?
I don't know.
Oh man. But anyway, that's my 5th pick.
So
VS, you're number 5.
yeah. Well, at number 5, so I was probably the last one to have a list of 5, and I went the typical, like, if I'm putting together a dream team of party members from anything fiction or history.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was the rules.
and
So
that's actually a really hard thing to do, by the way.
yeah, it is.
But I think at number 5, I'm going to have probably one of the strongest monk type characters that I know. Definitely one of the coolest,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the girl from Final Fantasy VII, Tifa Lockhart.
Ah,
If anybody knows anything about Final Fantasy VII, you know that this girl is badass. She's
mm-hmm.
unstoppable, and she's hot as hell. So
She gonna whip that ass,
Facts.
bro. Like,
she's gonna beat down everybody. She's strong. She's got a good sense for, what other people are feeling. She can keep the party's head on their shoulders, literally. And yeah, I don't think you'll find a more willing teammate and a better fighter out there. So that's my number 5.
yeah. I mean, that's a solid pick. She's also will fight for what's right, since she was a member of
True.
Avalanche, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like fighting
Yeah.
against the big nasty Shinra Corporation. So she's got a good moral compass.
Yep.
Yeah, she's an activist, got a heart of gold.
Yeah.
Best girl in 7. I'll fight you on it.
Via's gonna throw hands right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good pick. I don't think you can go wrong.
It's good number 5, I think.
Yeah, good number 5. I don't see any problem with that pick so far. So I think a decent showing for number 5 for everybody so far. So we can move on to number 4. Moves. Go for it.
Whoa, Bun, take it easy. So number 4, I also is in the realm of Final Fantasy,
Oh,
and particularly Final Fantasy 14, the critically acclaimed MMORPG, where you can get a free trial. Sorry,
New expansion this summer.
not sponsored.
They're not sponsored. I picked a wizard, and I
Okay.
went with Y'shtola Rule. Probably the best girl in Final Fantasy 14 of all time. And she's just a spellcaster badass, and she has a thirst for knowledge. She's also very attractive, if you're into to cat ladies, and and I don't want to get into spoilers, because if you haven't played Final Fantasy 14, which is incredible storylines and I don't know, like 5 expansions, Anyways, I don't want to get into spoilers, but a lot of cool stuff happens to Ashtola in the game where a lot of character growth. But yeah, she in the end, she's just a solid, super powerful wizard. And I chose Order of the Scribes as a subclass. I almost went Evocationist. She does blow shit up, but I think because of her thirst of knowledge and the person she portrays in the story, that pretty good.
I don't know shit about Final Fantasy 14, so I'm just going to take your word on it. But what I want to know, I didn't get the memo that there was a secret hotness factor ranking in this list either. I didn't get that memo. So,
Well, yeah.
I guess if you like dad vibes and dad bod, then Les Stroud, go for it. But
Yeah, I mean it's like it's not a ranking criteria, but it's like a bonus, I
yeah,
guess. A nice bonus.
Yeah, this helps.
Good for morale.
I don't know. I mean, do you think this is a good pick, VS? Because you know much more about this than I do. So if he's pulling a fast one, I want to know about it.
So, like you said, I mean, he's not wrong. Ishtola is like a very, very powerful black mage, which in Final Fantasy is your damage dealing mage. So think like Evoker, wizard. Powerful spells. She would be money when it comes to like history or arcana checks. And she's also a very good strategist too. So I think that's a strong number 4.
All right. I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it.
I mean, Village and Bun and chat agree. Like, hands down.
Yeah, they're very well versed in the Final Fantasy 14, which I'm not. You should add me to your list. My body is broken, Bun. Don't add me to your list. I'm not gonna do you any good. maybe 10 years ago or more, but not now. My number 4 pick for my list is Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
So, one of the strongest fighters in Westeros. Maybe not the strongest fighter, as in like 1v1, but I'll get to why I chose her as well. Extremely both like honorable, noble, humble, all good qualities of someone that you'd want to be running around with in an adventuring party. Pragmatic, but also blunt. So if she's not right, she's going to tell you about it, and she's not going to dress it up. So she might have that level-headed sort of voice of reason in the party. And also, like, the first woman knight in the whole 7 kingdoms in Westeros. Like, come on. And while there's a bunch of people who are probably great warriors in the realm of Westeros, the key factor of me not only is her abilities are amazing, but she's also not an asshole like almost every other person in that entire universe.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, it's just like, you've got to be like, this is your D&D party. You've got to be able to get along with these people too, because there are plenty of like the strongest ever picks that would be horrible to run around and try and, adventure with. So, also like with Brienne of Tarth, like she grew up like wanting to be a knight and like wanting to do good. Like, I think that's a solid for like personality and like ambition and drive for someone in a D&D adventuring party.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a good pick. Very good pick. Well, my number 4, we're staying in the video game realm, and I'm going with probably one of the best rogues you could ever ask for, Ezio Auditore from Assassin's Creed. The granddaddy, well, that's I'll tell you, but one of the greatest assassins ever in the Assassin's Creed franchise. He single-handedly rebuilt the Assassin Order from the ground up. He is, I mean, if you've ever played Assassin's Creed 2 or any of the games featuring Ezio, you know how this man moves. He's quick, he's strong, he's lethal, but he also got really, really high charisma. So he could potentially be the face man for your party. He can swoon anybody. He can deceive people. He's if you're looking for somebody that you can rely on to get into a place, to take somebody out, to steal something, or to just like completely bypass a potential confrontation, I don't know anybody better than Ezio for that. He's the man. He's just straight up the man.
I think
And it
out of
hurt me.
all, all right, yeah,
I
out of
I
all
was
the Assassin's Creed, you're dead on the money.
Yeah. I really wanted to pick Edward Kenway because
Mm-hmm.
he heavily influenced my D&D character, but there's a little bit of like, can you trust him in there? Because for a
Mhm.
large part of his story, he's kind of like just out for himself. So as much as I love that character, Ezio is the man. He's the best assassin in the series, and yeah, I think he'd be just an absolute amazing D&D party member.
Why Ezio over Altair?
Altair is great too, but Ezio Ezio took the foundations of what the assassins were, and he brought them from like a point of basically non-existent and built the whole order up himself again with his own style of assassins. And
Mhm.
he's just, I mean, he pretty much is the main character of the Assassin's Creed franchise. Like there's like 3 or 4 games with him. He's got so much story, and
Mhm.
he's just an all around likable character. I think went through hard times, fought his way out, and he's just cool, man.
It's been
I
so
think he's
long since I've played a game with Ezio in it. So I'm trying to like pull like and remember like memories of like playing that game.
and he has
Yeah,
amazing backstory contact with artificer Leonardo da Vinci. I mean,
yeah,
all the cool gadgets.
yeah.
Yeah. That's a good contact to have.
And he also, I don't know if this counts, but he technically has a familiar with the eagle, the whole eagle thing that
Mhm.
is kind of present in his story at all times.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number. What is that? Number 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's solid. I don't know if I immediately go to the Assassin's like Creed franchise, but I know I probably don't play them as much um as you do, VS, as I know that you really enjoy those games.
Assassins are broken.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, especially before they put in like spongy enemies, you just one shot everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah. You can just jump off like the Empire State Building and be fine.
Yeah, land in some hay at the
Yeah.
bottom.
Easy.
Yeah, it
Feather
doesn't take
fall
fall damage
permanent.
apparently, so yeah.
Yeah, permanent fall damage. Yeah, or feather fall.
They got eagle vision too, man. They can literally see through walls. It's
Yeah.
cheating.
Yeah, wall hacks. I mean, for sure. All right, number 3. Over to you, Moobs.
All right, yeah, number 3. So yeah, I have rogue, I have wizard, and now number 3, I'm going with the monk. And this one was really tough for me because I'm a big martial artist fan, and I chose a real person. And I was battling between 2, but I think I went with my number 1 pick is for monk. For my 3rd pick is a lot of picks and numbers. Jackie Chan. I love Jackie Chan.
Mm.
And I battled between him and Jet Li because I love Jet Li and Jackie Chan equally.
Yeah.
Both very different actors, both extremely skilled in martial arts. But I went with Jackie Chan for also because of his personality. Like he did
Mhm.
to me, growing up watching Jackie Chan, being half Asian, I always viewed Jackie Chan as like my uncle. He just gives off those like uncle vibes. Like you can always
Yeah.
count on Uncle Jackie. So and then he also knows like many different forms of martial arts.
Mhm.
Um I think probably one of his most famous one is Drunken Master, which
Yeah.
I think would be a perfect subclass for Jackie Chan. Yeah, he's just funny. He's a badass, super strong, super agile. Can like you literally see him do death defying stunts like jumping off buildings, scaling walls. Like Jackie Chan could do
Mhm.
it all, man.
Yeah.
And he has improvised weapon fighting because he can use ladders and shit.
Yeah, I
Beat
was
you
gonna
up with them.
say like he like tavern brawler, like
Yeah,
like he's got
100%.
that feat like in real life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, a lot of his older stuff when he was really young is like kind of crazy to watch because he was doing every stunt himself. He was just like falling off buildings and like, fighting 20 people, and it's like, man, this guy kicks ass.
Yeah, he's super powerful. Yeah, definitely a person I want in my D&D party.
yeah, I like that you talked about him like giving off the uncle vibes, like someone you'd want to hang around with, and like someone who always seems to have like a good personality and always positive. Like that kind of goes a long way during adversity and stuff
Mm-hmm.
in our fictional D&D campaign. Yeah, I like it. Solid pick for sure. Solid pick. The only thing that I question is we're creeping up to like top threes. How are like the real people gonna fare in like those top three situations against like literally any fictional character?
A fictional character. That is a good question, but like I
Mhm.
feel like Jackie Chan could hold his own in any setting because he's an actual real fighter. You know, it's not just for show, not just for film.
That's true.
Jackie Chan could fight. So
Yeah.
um, I guess magic. I don't know.
I mean, any real like Les Stroud's not gonna do very
Yeah,
well against
yeah.
magic either. Yeah, or me for that matter, if we're in this party. So all right, my number 3 pick. That might surprise you both. Oh, we'll see. My number 3 pick is Rurouni Kenshin from the
Ooh.
anime Rurouni Kenshin or Samurai X, which is a deep cut for me because y'all know I'm not a big anime watcher, but I
Mhm.
did watch some Rurouni Kenshin, and I'm thinking him as another strong, extremely strong and powerful warrior, right? Excellent swordsman, extremely
Mhm.
agile, dexterous with his fighting styles, but also has compassion, tries to do the right thing, tries to help people in need. I mean, basically, the story of like the Rurouni Kenshin anime is him like wandering around villages, basically helping people, essentially, you know. And that's a very abbreviated like description, so don't like
Mhm.
hold me to that or anything. But basically, as far as like a warrior, dude's like a living legend. I mean, it was part of his skill that like helped like stop an entire war. So yeah, I may have a sort of like a troubled past with kind of some regrets, you know, in the war, but he's trying to be a good person, and I think everyone deserves like you got to have that that story in your D&D party of like the redemption arc, right?
Mhm.
So that's kind of why I picked Rurouni Kenshin because you know, Breen of Tarth, very strong warrior, him almost more dexterous, agile, that kind of stuff. Having some people up there up close.
So
Yeah.
there are a ton of famous fictional and real samurai. Like
Mhm.
why Ronin? Because like you have like Sutachi the Blind Swordsman, there's like Samurai
Mhm.
Jack, there's just like there's so many samurais,
Musashi.
especially in the fictional world. Like
Mhm.
why was he the standout?
When I was thinking of people on this list, a lot of it was sort of course, limited to like what I've consumed and what I've seen in those things, but also what stood out to me, um, is that sort of that compassion side. Like he walks around with a reverse katana, so he doesn't kill people when he's fighting them, and like he does like everything he can to basically subdue someone without killing. So I like that quality, especially having someone who knows restraint in your D&D party, that kind of thing, who's been there, done that, and sort of has that same like value of life. That's kind of why, and nostalgia, because I really enjoyed the anime.
It's a good anime. You haven't watched
Yeah.
it, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. VS.
So, spoilers, I don't have any real life people on my list.
That's okay.
Um, and this one's going to be kind of maybe a little bit of an out there character. It's going to be kind of a niche pick. Um, it's another character from a video game, except we're shifting over to fighting games now. However, this is not going to be your Ryu or Ken or Scorpion. This is actually a mage
Interesting.
/ scientist. He's from a game called Guilty Gear. It's a fighting game that's been around for a long time.
The greatest fighting franchise, in my opinion.
Moobs knows it. At number 3, I'm going with Asuka R. I can't pronounce the other part of his name. It's like Croix or something like that. Essentially, this version of him is more or less a simulacrum of somebody else. But he is a highly powerful mage. He's a brilliant scientist. The list of spells available to him is like almost endless. He got you covered from attack spells, defense spells, even some healing spells. And his mind is so sharp, and he's got so much knowledge in there. Like you'll be hard pressed to find somebody that's going to come up with better like battle strategies than Asuka. He's an absolutely brilliant. The only downside with him is because he's a simulacrum and he was created without any sort of moral compass, he doesn't necessarily have opinions of right and wrong. He's pretty much dead neutral on everything. So there could be maybe some party conflict, especially since my party is leaning more towards good at this point.
Yeah.
However, I was trying to think of powerful mages. I was thinking of some mages from Final Fantasy, the famous mages like Gandalf, and I was like, you know what? I know of one that maybe not many people know about, and his design's cool. His theme music's really cool. And,
very important factor when choosing your D&D party.
Guilty Gear is often joked about as being like a music album that you get a free video game with. That's like what it is. So yeah, he's got style, he's brilliant, and he's a powerful mage. He's gonna be like your go-to man for anything requiring magical knowledge, history, even religion to a degree. So he's your smart guy, smart wizard man.
I thought you were gonna pick Testament.
That's another good one.
Character. Testament's pretty solid for a mage category.
Oh, absolutely. You could even go like Eno technically, but because they're extremely powerful too. But Asuka, his nickname is literally that man.
There goes that man.
I would say interesting pick of all the characters that, because I know some Guilty Gear. I've played some Guilty Gear. I don't even know if Asuka R would be my top pick just from Guilty Gear. But
I told you it's kind of an out of left field pick.
Yeah.
But given the game's lore and who he is in the game's lore, he's like one of the most powerful people in that lore.
Deep cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, because Dizzy's pretty solid as well.
I mean, he created the Gears, which are like world-ending fighters, basically. So
yeah. I mean,
touché.
Creator.
You're also talking to the guy who played Chip and just button mashed, so I don't really have a whole lot of ground to stand on here. So
listen, President Chip,
it's okay because Chip's enough. All right.
Oh man, very nice. We're up to the number 2s now, and I'll say that for those of you in chat, get those lists together, drop them in our Discord. Like, I'd love to see them and talk about them.
Yeah. Who you guys got?
Number 2 moves. Now we're getting
Drago
into this.
Posted his list. Number 2. This one was tough. I couldn't decide who was number 1, number 2, and I think I went with my heart. So number 2 to fill out the party composition of having kind of like a tanky frontliner,
Mhm.
I went with Paladin. I know Village is not gonna be too pleased with this, but I consider this to be the greatest video game franchise of all time. And my man Kiryu Kazuma from the Yakuza or Like a Dragon franchise series, even though he's a Yakuza,
He's got heart.
Kiryu has a heart of gold and does everything right by himself, by his friends and people. And he is a paladin in a sense of his code, Village. And I know she's raging right now. But because of the code he lives by and how he perceives the world and himself and the people around him, he's 100% a paladin. Because he always does what's right. He believes the best in people. He just wants to do what's right in the world. And yeah, he's an excellent fighter. He has a huge arsenal of weapons. He could pick up bicycles and plummet people with them. He can do it all. And that's my man.
I think this is a controversial pick. I think this is controversial. For your number 2, you pick a Yakuza guy who beats people up.
Yeah, for the greater good.
For the greater
All right.
good.
let me break it down for you, okay? So
He's a man of honor.
it's about the code, right? So very paladin like, all the oaths. So if you look at and there's 3 subclasses Kiryu could be, okay? There's devotion, there's crown, and there's conquest.
Mhm.
Okay. If we look at the crown or conquest, like the tenets of conquest is it's not enough to be merely to defeat an enemy in battle. Your victory must be so overwhelming that your enemies will fight. Their will to fight will be shattered forever, and that's very
Mhm.
much in line with the game because he's going up the god against the odds, and he's going up against people who have will of steel and will not back down. So he has to overpower them
Mhm.
to achieve victory.
That feels like a stretch to me, but it is your list. I'm just saying that's controversial.
I mean, it can be, but yeah, it's my list. This is my
It is
world.
your
This is
list.
my
It is
D&D
your list.
party. But yeah, it is, why is it controversial? That's my question.
I don't know. I think it's a pretty weak person to have at number 2. Now, if they were lower in the list, I think I might be a little more palatable, but that's just me.
Well, what makes them weak? Because technically, if they're in a D&D party, right, they're gonna have D&D powers. No,
I mean, sure, I would suppose. I mean,
this man's
sure.
been in. There are
Hmm.
9 Yakuza Like a Dragon games. All right,
He has
call
longevity.
Kiryu. They call Kiryu weak. I am offended, sir. Offended.
Okay.
Check
Maybe
the list.
if I play them, then I'll have a different opinion.
The one other downside I can see to that is like there's always going to be somebody tailing your party. And his name's Majima.
Built-in nemesis, great for story building.
All right. My number 2 pick. For my list, number 2 is Kvoth from the King Killer Chronicles stories by Patrick Rothfuss. Kvoth, first and foremost, is a extremely talented musician, bard, comes from a family of musicians, traveled as a traveling musician early in his life, was able to secure a very difficult to obtain what's the word I'm looking for, achievement from his music at one of the most famous sort of music halls in the books. Also, not only is he a very well talented musician, has the whole charisma side, performance, also a very powerful arcanist in the books. Has studied artifice and medica and sympathy, which is like basically like your evocation stuff. as well as like the naming, the power of names. There's just like a super elusive and powerful magic, like knowing the true names of things. Super awesome. Has also survived an encounter in the Feywild against one of the most powerful Fey in their realm. So I think that that's some good knowledge to have too. I was like, if he gets stuck in the Fey, dude can deal with it. He figured that out. Very well traveled. Also an experienced fighter as well, can hold their own since he basically spent some time with some. I'm going to use this term loosely for those of you that haven't read the books, but basically a society of like warrior monk type people. Like spend a lot of time with them too. So I think like for like all around, you've got fighting, you've got charisma, you've got spell casting, all around. I think a great number 2 for me.
I don't know who that is, so
Yeah, I'll have to take your word for it.
Oh,
No, you don't know. That's a
read?
controversial pick. You know what? Because of other reasons, and yeah,
Because I don't know who he
I'm
is.
I'm still upset about Kiryu.
None of you all have read any of the books, The Name of the Wind, The Wise Man's Fear. Come on, if you read those books,
No.
like I'm telling you, he deserves. Like it was hard for me not to put him at 1, but I have a much better number 1. So number 2, all around badass in a fantasy world. Like be a hard person not to put in your team is all I'm saying. And and Bun saying that he's a Mary Sue, that's fine. That's fine, because what would you not want to Mary Sue in your D&D party? Like I don't think that's bad. Competent across all sorts of different things, like all around awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a great pick to me.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Well,
I'm disappointed in you both for not reading those books.
I don't read.
I don't either. I listen to them on audiobooks. So
well, we had some interesting number 2s so far. There's going to be no controversy with this one, and there's going to be no doubts about it either. I'm going with the archetype archer himself, the Legolas.
Here we
From,
go. Yeah.
From the Lord of the Rings book series. Most of you know him. If you don't, what are you doing? I mean, he literally is the archetype for pretty much every elven archer that has come after in any kind of fantasy novel or video game or movie. If whatever you're consuming has an elf archer, guaranteed it's drawn inspiration from Legolas. He's that guy. I mean, probably the sharpest eyes in Middle Earth, if I had to take a guess. Just a marksman who's second to none. He's a stand-up guy. I mean, he's going to be on the side of right. He has the potential to be an excellent figure to look towards for, I guess, guidance or sort of a person to look to who's going to be confident in whatever scenario you bring him in. Either because of his own skill or just because he's like he's your Tolkien elf. He's like they're just, what's the word, stoic?
Yeah. I think it's a great pick, but I also
it's a safe pick.
What's that?
I said it's a safe pick, but I mean, he's that good.
If I'm adventuring in D&D, I would like to be safe. So a safe pick is great for me.
Yeah.
Also, like the Mary Sue, Gary Sue stuff is like, yeah, if I want somebody who's great at everything and has no flaws, that's fantastic. Great to get along with. Is a badass. Like
elves, man.
I will say too, I fully acknowledge that in Tolkien's world, elves are OP as shit. they're bullshit. They're
They are.
badasses, all of them. And I fully acknowledge that. I mean, in the books, this is a favorite thing of mine. Is Legolas is so light-footed that he walks on top of snow.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I mean,
I mean, yeah. I mean, Ranger, like he's like your best choice.
I would argue Legolas is a fighter, but that's a different conversation.
Well, I mean, you can dual wield as a Ranger.
Multi-class.
Yeah, he probably dips in rogue and gets the scout. You know, there's
Yeah.
multiple
Yeah.
ways you could build out Legolas.
For sure.
A little bit of Gloomstalker thrown in there.
Yeah. Good pick. I like Legolas.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't
we're
go
all-
without one Lord of the Rings character.
We're all fans, so we're like,
I mean,
it's
yeah,
not-
I don't think
it's
you
har-
can go wrong with Lord of the Rings.
it's hard
Like,
not to disagree with you.
I mean, it's hard not to fill up your whole list with Lord of the Rings characters, to be
Right.
honest. But
could just pick a
that was my
fellowship
first
with you.
list. That was my first list. I was like, wait, I gotta mix this up. I gotta
Yeah.
change it up.
yeah, solid. So now, well, we're at the number ones. I would entreat you all listening or watching, come hang out in our Discord, or if you're watching this after the fact, drop it in the comments. I want to see your lists so I can critique them. And we'll drop our lists in Discord as well, just so it's front and center, so you can see them. So thank you for those of you that have put your lists in there. Discord.com or discord.gg/casters and cantrips. Discord.gg/casters and cantrips. Drop your list. Let's talk about them.
Heck yeah. All right.
Number one, the number one on your list of
This
top
one-
5 people you'd want in your D&D party.
This one hits close to home, very near and dear to me. I love this person as a human being. Probably the greatest bard in the world is no other than Jack Black, baby. Jack
What?
Black, the
Okay.
greatest bard of all time.
What?
Obviously, College of Glamour. Voice of an angel, personality of a king. You'd be laughing your ass off the entire time. You need a little levity in our D&D party. Jack Black, he's gonna do it. That's true. He battled demons. Okay, he's an entertainer, an actor,
Mm,
musician, orator. Oh man. Oh yeah, and you get a bonus Kyle.
bonus
on the
Kyle,
side.
yeah. Man,
Mind bullets. That's telekinesis, Max.
okay, so I'm gonna say initially taken aback by this pick for number one, but like I would think like if it was only real people, solid number one pick. But then when we open up to like real or fictional, but you did remind me that he did fight a demon or the devil as well,
And won. And won.
which now that we're bringing up the extended universe of Jack Black, then I'm cool with it because yeah, I'm good with that. If we're talking Tenacious D, Jack Black, yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah, he's slain a Hydra with his scrot. Okay, a Wonder Boy.
I don't know. What's your thought on this, VS?
I kind of had the same initial reaction because I'm like movie star Jack Black. Okay, yeah, technically he qualifies as a bard, sure. And then I almost forgot about like all the Tenacious D stuff, and I'm like, okay, fine.
He's also a very skilled luchador. Okay, Nacho Libre. Right?
Oh, so okay, so if you put an actor's name in there, then you just immediately inherit every character they've ever played in all their movies. Because I think that's a little far. I'll give you the Tenacious D Jack Black because
Okay,
it's
all
the
right,
same
all
guy.
But then you also got to take School of Rock Jack Black.
Yeah.
A mentor, a teacher. See, he's a perfect bard.
The person who's never going to pay for his meals.
Yeah.
All right. I won't mix universes. Just Tenacious D Jack Black.
See, I think if you say Jack Black, then Tenacious D works because it's still Jack Black. It's just a a Tenacious D flavor with all the fun stuff you'd want in D&D.
Mm-hmm.
I like that pick, but yeah, with VS, I was saying at first I'm like, what? Like, but it was a very cerebral pick, mulling it around. Like, okay, I get it.
Once you heard me out and I pitched it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Jack Black, baby.
Yep. All right. For me, my number one person I would want in my D&D party, Lady Galadriel.
Oh, okay.
Talk about OPLs.
Yeah.
Lady Galadriel.
Okay.
So one of the oldest, mightiest, most powerful elves in the Third Age, wields Ninya, which is the ring of water of the rings of the elves have gotten. The power of that ring is the preservation and concealment from evil. Tell me that is not something that you would want in your D&D party, as well as she is a total absolute badass warrior as well. And was also able to resist the ring in Lord of the Rings, able to resist the corruption. Fight me.
Yeah, I mean, as far as number ones go, it's hard to do better.
I can't fight you because you have Lady Galadriel in your party.
That's like
Exactly.
having a demigod in your party, basically.
She's an elf, all right. So maybe demigod in Tolkien-esque, yeah, but still.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. It's just that's a really good pick.
Yeah, I thought
I don't
based
know.
on your reaction to Legolas, like you might have just like brushed Lord of the Rings aside, and I was thinking, oh,
No, absolutely, I did not. I fully embraced the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
I will say too, as a little bit of background story for me, that number one spot was just this close to coming to Gandalf as number one for me. But in my mind, I was like, okay, but hold on. Gandalf, being an Astari, one of the wizards, he's forbidden from using his full power while he's amongst mortals. I don't want someone with restraints in my party. I don't want any of that. You're basically an angel. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't want that. Like, how do I relate to someone like that?
You're gonna have some dope ass weed though. If you had Gandalf. Just saying.
That's what Bun said. But I was like, you know what? If anyone can get that, then Kvothe could probably get that too. So
I mean, yeah,
that's good. That's a good
really
one.
Strong. That is really strong.
Yeah.
VS,
can you top
that?
One. Yeah, it's
can you
number
top
one.
That VS? Let's see it.
It's hard to top one of the most powerful Tolkien elves. But my number one is the definition of perseverance itself. With this person in your party's never going to go down. Not everybody, because he's going to stay standing through everything and keep going. My number one, Guts from Berserk. Guts from Berserk is a supremely powerful warrior. His strength is on a level where he's able to basically fight against demons and other like sort of demonic creatures by wielding a sword that's a slab of iron, and he's able to cleave through giant creatures like they're butter. He has a suit of armor that surrounds him that amplifies his power, especially when he rages. And like I said, he's never going down. Like that's the whole story of Guts is he doesn't stop. He keeps going through the worst scenarios you could possibly imagine and comes out the other side no matter what. So your party could be in the most dire situation imaginable, and you know that at least he's going to stay standing and probably going to finish that encounter at the end. Like when you're talking about having a pillar in your party, somebody that you can rely on for anything, it's Guts. He's just that guy. Like he's that strong.
You got a lot of that, guys.
Hey man,
That's three. It's three that guys.
it's 3 that guy.
You can only have one that guy. There might be some inter-party conflicts going on. Could be that
That's the other thing about Guts though. He's as
doesn't care
long
about that.
as you're moving forward and you're not being like addicted to him personally, he's just gonna be that. He's gonna be quiet and wherever you're going, he's going. And yeah, if you give him a mission, he's gonna see it done.
Gus comes with a lot of baggage, though. You know, like some real deep issued baggage.
He does.
So you're gonna have to deal with that in your party. You know.
Yeah, but like it's fine.
I haven't seen any like Berserker or the manga or anything, so I'm gonna take your word for it. I need to. It's on my list, but
it is really good. It's like probably one of my top animes.
Yeah,
just
probably one of the best manga. I mean, it's
the series is like you could buy the manga series. It's ginormous. Like you'd be reading forever.
But he is the epitome of resolve and perseverance.
I like it. I think for the most part, some very strong lists all around for a D&D party. This is fun.
I feel like my list doesn't have as powerful characters as Max's or VS's, but my party is gonna have a great time. There's so many. There's some great personalities. We're gonna have an awesome time.
I guess my thought process is for my list is like I don't want to die. because if I am in any D&D party when we're pulling this kind of stuff, I'm the weakest link, like by far of all these people. It's me. I'm the weakest link.
Yep. I know I'm not gonna die with my team.
Yeah.
There's no possible way.
Yeah, well, thanks everybody for watching and hanging out with us. Let us know if you liked it. Show us your lists, drop them in the Discord. We're gonna drop ours in there as well, so you can kind of if you want a quick recap of who we talked about. So thanks so much for watching and hanging out with us. We've got our next scheduled program will be on Wednesday at 7 p.m., which is a Bun art stream. Thursdays when our Out of Combat's going to drop from our last episode, so some big stuff from that episode. I'll be interested to see what you all talked about. And then of course on Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific is going to be our episode 32 of our second campaign, so come join the fun. We got the band back together, so it'll be a good time. But anyway, thanks everybody for watching and hanging out with us. Show us your lists, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks everybody.
Bye.